Hi world, it's Keely and I'm back for another video. This is going to be just an update on what I've been reading for this past week and my reading plans for this weekend. Today is Thursday. I started back at work this week, so my reading has definitely slowed down a lot, but that's okay. That just happens throughout the year kind of naturally anyway. I spent Tuesday, Wednesday, and this morning filming clips for a just kind of day in the life vlog thing, but it's like almost 5 o'clock now on Thursday and I still had over an hour of footage to edit to get a video up for tomorrow. And as I was sitting there watching it, I was just like, I don't have the energy for this. I don't really want to do this. So instead, I'm just wiping that and I'm just going to do kind of this sit down quick update video for you so that I get something up for Friday. And then hopefully this weekend have time to sit down and film and edit and upload, schedule some videos for the coming weeks, just to give myself a little bit of a break throughout the week so that I don't feel an extra level of pressure on myself. Like I said, so I'm back at work, but then I'm also training my leg, my knee, to be able to run 5 miles again by the middle of January. So far, I am comfortably sitting at 2.5 miles without breaks, a 5K with break, like walking breaks, and up to a 5K with walking breaks. I haven't tried a 5K without stopping yet. Today, I was going to go to the gym, but decided to take an extra day off to rest my knee since I've been pushing to stay on my feet longer while running. And I've talked about my running journey over the years on my channel, but I was like doing super long distances, and then in 2019 I injured my knee, and since then I've been really shitty about staying consistent and doing things to prevent a recurring injury with my knee. This year I've been really good about slowing down, and I'm kind of in that headspace of like, I really want to go running. Like, my body wants to go running, but my brain is like, you shouldn't for your knee. You should like really rest and stretch and all of that. So I'm gonna take the day to try to just relax, play some video games, rehydrate, just kind of chill. And then tomorrow I will probably go for a long run and just see how it goes, and maybe over the weekend, a long run. All of that rambling to say that I have finished technically 1 book so far this week and marked 2 other books completed when they are not really completed, and then I'm reading 4 other books. For the Read What You Own challenge, that is very much still what I'm doing. I printed out, I made my own little version of reading of 25 sections, so this counts for 25 books. I want to hit 25 before I buy a new book, and I have marked off 6 so far. Last week I had 3 marked off. This week now I'm up to 6. I'm just writing them down in my reading journal. The first book that I finished this week was Locklands by Robert Jackson Bennett, which is the 3rd and final book in the Founders trilogy, and I had an amazing time with it. I really enjoyed it. It is a fantasy trilogy about people that have different types of magic, and you can communicate with locks and with buildings and creatures. You can make constructs, all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. Absolutely loved it. Happy that I finally finished that trilogy and so ready to start another Robert Jackson Bennett book, but I won't until next year. So I did finish that one. Super happy that I finished that. And then the other 2 books. Okay, so this morning I spent time looking up the ending, like the Wikipedia page and the ending to The Warden by Anthony Trollope, because I had started The Warden last month or the month before, and it's not that long of a book, but it's a classic, and it was just taking me forever to get through. I'm over halfway through it on my Kindle, but I'm just so ready to be done with it. And so I just looked up the Wikipedia page to see, like, how does it end? The Warden is about this man who becomes the warden of this property where they have, it's like an almshouse, and there are these men that live there, and they receive a certain stipend to stay there, and then the warden also receives a stipend, and a third party comes in, and he's like, I don't know that you guys are accurately giving the stipend to the people. I think that the warden is getting paid way too much, so I'm gonna file a court case. And then that's really what it is. It's like this little town that is having this big kind of upset where people are questioning the status quo between the church and some people that are being supported by the church, and the money was determined by someone's estate after they died. And so the whole lawsuit is that basically you are misinterpreting the estate planning documents of this other person. And I was really enjoying it. Like, I enjoyed Anthony Trollope's writing. I thought that it was kind of fun, like all this back and forth between these different people and the relationships with them and all of that. But I was just so ready to be done with it. So I looked up the ending and I was like, oh, cool. So I'm marking it as read for now. I might in another year, but like a distant future, want to read the full thing, but for right now, I'm fine with marking it as complete. And then the other one that I also marked as complete is this one. This one is The Haunting of Alma Fielding by Kate Summerscale. This one is a nonfiction that takes place in London in the 1930s, and there's this woman, Alma Fielding, who started experiencing what seemed like a poltergeist. And at the time, there was this kind of supernatural investigator guy that was competing with other men that were also investigating this kind of stuff. And he was like, I want people to respect me. I want people to recognize my worth in this field. So I am going to meet up with her and become the dedicated person that documents all of this. And it's going to make me famous, basically. And she ends up spending a ton of time with him and other researchers and other people that they know are involved in like the occult supernatural world, and trying to determine what is going on. Is it actually a poltergeist? Is this like 100% legit? Is she faking it? What's happening? And you learn a lot about Alma and her family and her history. You learn a lot about Nandor and his history, and then the other people that are all involved. Did I say his name was Nandor? His name is Nandor, which is amazing if you've watched What We Do in the Shadows, because that's who I imagine has been involved this whole time. But like, once we got introduced, like you start off really learning about Nandor's life and like setting the stage, and then Alma comes in a little bit later. And once you start learning about Alma and her life, it's pretty freaking obvious what's happening, at least for me, who has a background in social work and psychology and has worked in a trauma field for 12 years. Like, it's kind of obvious to me what's happening. So I ended up looking up the Wikipedia and also just like a bunch of different, the wiki didn't really say much, but I looked up some reviews from people that talked about like the outcome of the story of Alma and what was probably happening. And I was like, okay, cool. So I enjoy Kate Summerscale's writing. I enjoyed the vibes of this one very much, but it was just taking way too long to wrap up, which is probably just a me thing, that I was just so ready to be done with this one. I'm kind of out of spooky book season again and back into reading fantasy, so I was just ready for this one to be done. So for now, I'm marking it as completed on my shelves. So those are the next 3 books that I was able to add to this spreadsheet. And then in terms of other reading, earlier this week, I started A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sango Mandana. This one is super cute so far. You start off with Sarah, who right at the beginning of the story, this fox shows up that's talking to her, and the fox is like a witch that's in the body of a fox, and we don't really know why yet. And Sarah lives with her aunt, and her aunt dies one day in the garden, and the fox is like, you should bring her back to life. And that's kind of the beginning of the book. And then it's like flash forward to when Sarah is an adult. So I got up to chapter 4 and then put it down and just haven't picked it back up, but I am very much enjoying it. I also, the one I'm actively reading right now every day on my Kindle, I am reading the 3rd book in the Scholomance trilogy, which is The Golden Enclaves by Naomi Novik. Really loving it. I'm about 40% of the way through that one. So that one is going to be like my priority read over the weekend. And then the other book that I'm reading on Sundays when we go to the park, I am reading Hyperion by Dan Simmons, and I am like 100 pages into that one. So my priority read is going to be finishing the Golden Enclaves. And then after I'm done the Golden Enclaves, I'm going to move back to the Bone Shard War by Andrea Stewart, because I would love to finish up both Scholomance and Drowning Empire before the end of the year. So those are the 2 like main fantasy priorities right now. And then backup would be reading Hyperion and reading this one. In terms of like videos and stuff that's coming up, I need to film my TBR for my readathon that I'm hosting in December. I have a bunch of other video ideas for the end of the year. I have a reading project for January, so I have to make the video and the TBR for that. And I have been doing a bunch of 2026 spreads in my reading journal, so I need to figure out a way to walk you guys through what I've been doing in my reading journal and the spreads for 2026. I need to figure out if I can use the tripod that I have and angle it I'm not sure if I can do that, but I'm gonna try, see if I can figure that out, because I'm really enjoying having a reading journal, and I would love to share it with you guys as someone that has never really used a reading journal before, has given up on many a journal because it didn't look how I wanted it to. But this time I've stuck with it and I'm having a great time with it. That's it. Over the next couple days, I will be playing video games, working, going for runs, reading, getting super excited that next week is Thanksgiving. Definitely thought I had more time than I do to get the groceries and all of that I need for cooking for Thanksgiving and then Friendsgiving after that. But I don't. So today did not go how I planned from the beginning of the day. Like, I started off strong and then stuff just kept happening and I was like, okay, I'm getting flustered, just like reset my brain. But that's all right. That happens. So let me know what you guys are reading. How are you doing on your Read What You Own challenge, if you're like formally taking part in that or if you're just kind of going with the flow. Let me know how you're doing. What are you guys reading this weekend? Have you finished any books this week? And that's it. Thanks for watching.